Neighborly Ventures started in 2019. We're about 3 years old as an organization. We primarily do development, construction, and management of apartment buildings, both here in the Salem area, the Willamette Valley, and then in other states in the western United States. Our vision is to look for ways to what we call be increasingly outward towards the people we work with and we work for. We want to do that for a growing number of people, and we want to help people to be able to grow personally as well. We tend to see real estate and development sometimes I think differently than many others traditionally do. Many times development and real estate and property management is seen as a win-lose scenario. Someone must win only at the expense of someone losing in a deal or in a scenario that occurs for development or construction or management. Instead, we see that it's really more of like rising tide floats all boats. So we see that we all are really actually all aligned together with the same interests in the neighborhood thriving, for example. And so while we may have different viewpoints on how that's done or different ways that it impacts us as that neighborhood changes, ultimately we all want the same thing: a thriving neighborhood, a thriving community, a thriving city. And so it's really about creating the relationships where we can share impacts on each other that are occurring so that we can figure out how to help each other out through that path to get to the better outcome that we all ultimately want. It's a training and it's a language that we use within our organization to help us to ensure that we meet the objectives of our organization, the objectives of our clients that we serve, and of all the members of the community that are impacted by the work we do. And so it's a way for us to kind of check our approach and to make sure that we're not just simply completing tasks, but we're meeting the initial objectives that everybody involved had for a particular project or service that we're providing. We hope that that philosophy, that approach, permeates everything we do. And we find that what it does when we remain outward, we're looking for outcomes that create a positive relationship for the long run, and not just simply for an initial outcome that we want right now at the sake of sacrificing other priorities that people have. You have one group of people who are excited about new housing available. There's certainly a shortage for housing that is recognized by everybody. But then there's another group that might have the viewpoint of, I'm not so certain we want the housing here in this area, or we want the housing to be like that in this area. And so right up front, those opinions and those viewpoints can appear to clash with each other. And having a relationship, keeping that relationship strong, and being able to listen and understand another person's point of view, we find creates more opportunities. At a project like this that we have here at the Grove, a lot of the work we did was to try and understand the needs of the neighbors and the communities before we even first came up with our ideas that we wanted. And we tried to work with them closely to make sure that what we did met both the needs of the people that would want to live here and the people that live in this neighborhood as well. I think what we see in Salem and in the Willamette Valley is growth overall in general. It's a wonderful place to live. Lots of people want to be here. It's a great place to raise families, to develop a career, to develop a business. And so we see an opportunity there to help people find a safe and meaningful place to live, where the living environment can help them to meet the personal objectives they have in their life. Because we both develop, construct, and manage properties in the Salem area, we interact with lots of different groups to be able to provide the services that are needed for our residents. So we'll work with both city services, we'll work with nonprofit organizations, we work with different businesses that provide services that residents may need. And we try and incorporate those services into the living environment at the properties so that residents have resources that they can use as they have to move through life. Working with the employees of our organization and understanding the impact that they have on the customers we serve. I get a lot of motivation out of seeing our employees presented with a problem that looks impossible to solve. And in the outset, it looks like there is no resolution that will work. And I love watching our employees remain close to that and figure out how to help those parties involved find a solution that actually creates more opportunity for those involved than they initially thought. And when that occurs, it's just hard for me to let go of that thought and that excitement.